Okay, in this video, I'm gonna give you a couple of casting pointers that'll help you get that line out just a little bit further than you are today. So if you're new to fly fishing and you're struggling and getting frustrated with your cast, I'm here to help. And be sure to stick to the end of the video because there's one critical component that you need to be able to help you with your fly cast. And don't get frustrated, it's gonna take some time, but if you practice, and especially if you practice outside of fishing in a field or some large area, you're gonna get there and you're gonna be able to cast that fly rod a lot further than you are today. So let's get started. Okay, if you're super new, a lot of new fly fishers will just start to cast, right? They don't pull any line out. They only have the leader kind of falling out the front of their rod. That's not enough, right? You need a little bit of line out from the rod to be able to start generating some line speed, because that's really what helps that line fly out from your fly rod, right? You got to be able to generate some solid line speed to make that happen. And we're gonna show you today how to do that. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to peel off about 20 feet of line from your fly reel. And then get about a rod length and a half of floating line beyond the tip of your fly rod. I almost said fly pole, your fly rod. So that's where you want to start. So even when you're fishing, right, have some floating line pulled out so you can generate the cast, and have some of that floating line go beyond the tip of the fly rod. So that's super important, right? That's kind of your starting point anytime that you're getting ready to cast. So I'm going to assume in this video that you already know kind of the basic fundamentals, right? You know how to hold the rod, right? Thumb on the cork is always best. You know that generating a straight line path is super important, right? If your rod tip is going all sorts of different directions, your line's going to follow it and it's going to mess up your cast. Cadence, super important. Cadence really does help you generate distance when fly casting, because if you're whipping that thing back and forth too quickly, you're not going to be able to get the cadence down, and the whole rhythm of casting a fly rod is not going to click unless you're patient. One of the biggest mistakes that anyone new to fly fishing make early on is they're not patient enough on their cadence. And what I mean by that is when you go back with your fly cast, you have to make sure that line fully extends all the way back. If you've been fly fishing for a while now and sometimes you hear that whipping snap sound, that is because you started moving the fly rod forward in your cast before all of the line extended out behind you. So be super patient when you're casting and let all that line extend out behind you. As your cast lengthens, right, you're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer on that back cast. You got to just really kind of feel the line, and it's okay to look back, right? Watch the line fully extend back behind you before bringing your rod tip forward. So that is super important, right? The first step in really being able to generate some distance in a fly cast is to be able to control the cadence and control the line. So just be patient. When your brain is ready to bring it forward, just wait a half a second longer. And you're gonna find when you're out there fishing, if you're patient with that, you're gonna have a much better result in your fly cast. And by the way, if you're finding this video helpful, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. This helps this video spread to more people that might be looking to improve their fly cast. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you should check out everything I've got on this channel. It's really all about inspiring you to get out there and fly fish and also helping you along the way. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you. The next is what's called hauling. And what you're essentially doing with hauling is that you're using your non-casting hand. So I'm right-handed in this case. So my left hand is always in touch, right? I'm always got my hand on the fly line. And I begin to influence the fly line and influence the fly rod, because what generates that cast, right, is that the energy that you're building up in your fly rod is transferred into the line and throws it out and throws it backward, right? You get that big bend in your rod, and which then loads up the rod to help throw the line out in front of you or in back of you, depending on wherever it is you're at in your casting motion. So your left hand or your non-casting hand, you can help generate or load the rod by either single hauling or double hauling. that is really gonna make a huge difference when it comes to distance. And it also takes a lot of the work out, right? If you see me fly casting on any of my videos, I am hauling all the time to some degree, right? Because as I'm getting older, my shoulder isn't quite as young as it used to be. So I like to cast a lot less to be able to reach the distances that I need to get to without a lot of effort. And if you start hauling all the time, whether it's single hauling where you're pulling down on the line as you're lifting the rod to help quickly load the rod up, or you're hauling in both directions, right? You're basically almost like an up-down motion with your non-casting hand, and it's in unison with the fly line to where once the fly line is nearly all the way back and before you bring the rod forward, you're already pulling down on the fly line with your non-casting hand, which is helping the line speed and load that rod up before it shoots out forward. So you'll notice anytime, right? I'm always in a state of hauling because you get more distance with a lot less effort if you do the single and double haul. Okay, what's the thing you need, right? That's helped me immensely with my fly fishing casting, has really helped me now that I'm getting a little older and I don't want to put a ton of energy into casting because, wears out the shoulder. Fly line. I recently picked up what's called the Outbound Short. It is a really heavy shooting head, and holy smokes, that has changed my casting really significantly because I have to put a lot less effort to be able to shoot out a ton of line. With an Outbound Short, it's got a really thick loaded shooting head and just really helps that fly line shoot right out. I mean, super easy, very little effort, and I'm casting easily 60 feet right now with very little effort. Okay, that's it. So go get your fly rod, get out in a field, and if it's even when you're fishing, it's okay too. But get out there and practice, right? You're not gonna get it on the first go around. It's gonna take some time, but it'll start to flow. It's like riding a bike, right? If you remember back when you first started riding a bike, you're gonna crash a few times. It's okay to fail. Practice will make perfect, and you'll be able to shoot that fly line out a lot further than you are today. And hey, if you are new to fly fishing, which I think you might be, check out this video I put out right here. This has about 12 different tutorials all in one video. So if you're looking for a non-stop video to help you with your fly fishing, whether it's gear, casting, techniques, tips, check out this video here. I think you might find it helpful. All right, until the next time, everybody, fish on.